Baden Bowl, the fight professor, and your Pratt Pack getting ready for the Netflix fight tomorrow. The main event in Vegas, Canelo Alvarez, Terrence Crawford, super middleweight championship on the line. How do you see this fight unfolding, Mr. Fight Professor?
I think it'll unfold early, and you're going to have to watch the fight with an eye toward the effect that Canelo's punches are having on Crawford. If Crawford gets moved by the punches, then he's going to be in trouble in the middle to later rounds because he can't withstand that power. And Canelo's a very accurate pinpoint puncher. He doesn't miss. And so Crawford's going to have to move. And if he's weighing 179 by late tonight, tomorrow morning, 175, I should say, to 180, that's a lot of weight for a guy who started fighting at 135 pounds.
I didn't realize this until tonight. I knew Canelo was 35. He's been fighting professional since he was 14 or 15. But Crawford's 37?
He's 37, be 38 after the fight, yeah. So he's the older guy, and of course that brings up the question, as you know, who's in his prime? Well, really not much of a difference, but if you had to bet who's in his prime, wouldn't you bet the younger guy, Canelo? He's 35 versus the 37-year-old. Neither one has been in great wars, so there's really been no telltale damage on either fighter. They're very good boxers, so they know how to avoid the other guy. Crawford's more of a fighter. He wants to scrap with you, and as you know, when you're punching, you're open to a counterpunch, and he's in with the greatest counterpuncher of this generation, in my opinion.
So did I see and read or hear this correctly? Is Crawford, can he actually switch up and be a southpaw too?
No, he does. He didn't, not as a career move, but during the course of a fight. Both of them will do that.
Wow.
And Canelo hasn't had that much experience with left-handed fighters. I don't know that any fighter really has had that much experience, because generally if a guy's a left-handed fighter, his trainer will switch him to right-handed, because it's hard to get fights if you're a left-handed fighter. No one wants to fight a left-handed fighter because everything's reversed.
It's a mirror image. So let me ask you this. How in the world, the way he cuts off the ring and he uses that bull strength, how do you stay away from the power of Canelo Alvarez? Because he can hit you with either hand, uppercut, hook off the jab. I mean, there's nothing this guy can't do. How do you avoid that power?
That's pretty tough. Well, that's pretty tough to do. If you notice in that Skull fight, he didn't cut off the ring. I think he was in there knowing that Skull didn't belong in the ring with him, and so he made a minimal effort. He didn't cut the ring off much. He kind of followed him around the ring, and Skull was running the whole fight. So in that case, it's pretty hard to make your power be imposed on the other guy when the other guy's 10 feet away from you most of the fight. So Crawford doesn't do that. He doesn't run. He comes to fight. And he's going to be, in my opinion, he'll be there in front of Canelo from the first bell, and he's going to be willing to fight him. So, again, we've talked about it before. A great big guy beats a great little guy. And Crawford is the smaller man, although he's not going to be small in this fight at all, because he weighed in. They weighed in the same earlier today at 167.5. Tonight they'll be rehydrating. Tomorrow they'll be walking around as light heavyweights.
All right, let's talk some business, something else you're really astute at. So Netflix has it. For those of us who subscribe to Netflix, we're going to be able to see it in the comfort of our home, and many people are going to be subscribing to watch this epic fight from Vegas. Dana White, UFC, now involved in the boxing business. Some Dubai money in. You told me moments ago Canelo's going to get $100 million and $10 million will go to Crawford. So where is this game headed right now? From the days in which you and I were involved in closed circuit, you, of course, that Hearns-Leonard fight, one of the first. Where are we right now with boxing? Everything's streamed, but is Netflix now, because of the worldwide audience and the subscribers and Dana White jumping in, is it maybe actually going to start to be able to compete with other combat sports?
I don't know, because obviously UFC and MMA has a big market share.
Big.
People want to see that for some reason. It's not my favorite sport, obviously, but I think that's where it's going. I mean, think about who would you want to see fight. If you're familiar with the fighters in today's fight game, you like to see competitive fights. For years, in my opinion, HBO, Showtime got away with putting on subpar fights. They would hype a guy so much before a fight that you thought he was the second coming with Joe Louis, and the fight starts and he's not the second coming. Just badly matched fights. People get tired of that. So here you have a fight with two named guys. Both have a heck of a track record. You can make a case for either guy winning the fight, really. And people will pay to see that. They'll pay to go to Las Vegas to see the fight. And if it was a pay-per-view fight, I'd be paying for it, and you'd be at my house watching it with me. Mm-hmm. It's not. And so Netflix, I think, will gain more members because of this than what the pay-per-view buy would have been.
Listen, Crawford is beloved, no doubt. But Canelo in the country of Mexico is beloved, is he not?
Oh, he's every bit the superstar there that any big-name baseball player or football player would be in.
What's left for him? I mean, who's out there for him to fight?
Nobody, really. The next big fight for him, if he were to have one, he'd have to either go down in weight, not going to do that at this point in his career, I don't think, or go up in weight, which is easier to do because there's guys that Benavidez fight, that would be a good fight with David Benavidez. But Benavidez got tired of waiting around for Canelo to say yes, and he moved up to light heavyweight. So I don't think Canelo's great at light heavyweight. He lost to Bivol, so he's got his hands full with anybody that big. So, but if you want to make a fight that'll attract viewers, that Benavidez would be the fight, and who knows how much money they would make for it.
All right, I love Tank Davis. I just enjoy watching him fight, but now Jake Paul. And Jake Paul, listen, a lot of courage, get into the ring, shows me some skills, but it seems as though he's got more fight fans and people that just love combat sports than some of the top names in the game. What do you make of the Jake Paul phenomenon and the next chapter, Tank Davis? And we'll end on that note.
Well, I think people love to go to a circus, and that's Jake Paul. He's a great promoter.
He is.
Now you have Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather going to do a exhibition. Tyson, a former heavyweight champion, and Mayweather fought at 147 pounds. So it's going to sell. People will buy, if it's a pay-per-view, people will buy that and watch it just for the circus atmosphere. And Jake Paul's the one that started that, with these retired guys or guys that never really were much of a fighter. So I think that's where it's going to go.
He was the first to tell me about Crawford, and you were also the first to tell me about Tyson Fury. He's going to go with Usyk one more time, I guess. What do you make of that fight? Does he have any chance of recapturing the heavyweight championship?
Fury?
Yeah.
No. Usyk can fight.
You said that too. I know it. I've seen it.
Yeah, no, he can fight. He's got all the tools. I don't think he has a deficiency in any area of boxing. Fury, he's a tough guy to fight because he's so long and got the reach and he's gangly.
All right, so who wins this fight? And give me how you think it's going to end tomorrow.
Canelo wins the fight. I think the corner stops of Crawford about the 10th round, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I agree. I just think there's too much power. He always is in peak condition, and he's a warrior. This is all he does, and he loves it, and he's been doing it for a long time. Netflix, tomorrow night, Canelo Alvarez, Terrence Crawford, super middleweight title on the line. We'll be talking more about it, of course, this week with those Coons Market Sports Reports and Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show. From Baden Bowl, the home of Jimmy Maggs and company, this is the Fight Professor, Bernie Bukovic. We'll see you on the radio in a couple of hours. Good night.